Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view friends. The US markets were flat and no major movement after 2 days of closure because of that hurricane. European markets were down about 0.6 to about 1.25% as some of the corporate earnings have not been too impressive, and when we look at the Asian markets, most of them are quoting about 0.6 to about 1.25% down, though the Chinese manufacturing data that came out has been better than expectations. Back home friends, our own markets, we had a mild pullback yesterday, but the market is not showing much of strength. The action was actually seen in some of the mid-cap stocks, but overall volumes and flows have dried up quite a bit, and it remains to be seen whether the market is able to hold up to about 5580 to about 5600 levels, as that happens to be a very crucial zone both from a derivative open interest perspective as well as a technical perspective. So this is something that we will be keenly watching out for. And on that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues and the possible ideas and strategies that we can look at in the F&O markets.
Good morning friends. After Monday's fall, what we have seen is that market again is been stuck in a range, but it's able to hold 5,600 levels, and we have seen some market showing resilience around those levels and has recovered sharply in yesterday's trade during later part of the day. Now, due to which we have seen that the PCR ratio remains unchanged, but on the implied volatility front, there's not a much change in from past couple of trading session, and even in yesterday's session there's not a huge change in that, but yes, it has reduced marginally. So what we feel is that 5,600 on closing basis would act as a good support for the market, as both call as well as put option of 5,600 has witnessed a good activity. Now on the higher side, we have seen that the focus has shifted from 5,900 call option towards 5,800 and 700 call option. So 5,700, 5,750, which is the weekly VWAP, would continue to act as a hurdle for the market. And on lower side, we have seen that 5,500, 5,400 put option has seen a good activity. So probably if 5,600 is taken off on the lower side, then further downside, then gates for further downside would open, and 5,500, 5,400 would be the probable target. Now having look at the stocks from intraday perspective, Adani Port is looking positive, so one can go long on that with support of 125 rupees 75 paisa. Even Exide Industry is looking good, so one can maintain a stop loss of 140 rupees 30 paisa to go long on. And we feel that Ambuja Cement is bit weak, so one can go short on Ambuja Cement with resistance of 270 rupees 30 paisa. Thank you.
Friends, here are the news that we are tracking today. First of all, the core sector growth for the month of September has been at 5.1%, which is indicating an early signs of revival. Remember that we had quite a bit of slowdown on the industrial growth front, which is reflected in the way the IIP numbers have been over the past about 1 year or so. But looking at this core growth data for the month of September, there are hopes that probably we are on the way to a recovery. About the numbers which have been out, friends, Glenmark reported good set of numbers. Their top line grew by 19% and the net profit growth was almost 3.7%, adjusting for the out licensing income, the extraordinary expenses and the foreign exchange losses. Also, the management has indicated that there is likely to be a turnaround in their Latin America and European businesses, which is definitely positive news. So overall, we have revised our price target on Glenmark by 5% to about 491. Tata Global also came out with a good set of numbers. Their net profit grew by almost 55% and even the top line had a reasonably good growth. So Tata Global Beverages, we continue to have a hold rating on the stock. Today friends, we are going to have auto sales number for the month of September, and the prominent ones would be Maruti, where we are looking at about 14% kind of a month-on-month growth. Remember friends, that festive season this year has been delayed, so the actual growth one can see in the month of November, but overall we believe that Mahindra and Maruti are likely to come out with good set of numbers. Tata Motors has entered into an agreement with West Sport Innovations, who have a specialization in the natural gas engines, which is definitely positive for Tata Motors. So one can go long there with a stop loss of 250 and a target of about 263 to 268. And Wipro has decided to hive off its consumer business from the main IT company, which is a mild positive for Wipro. One can go long there with a stop loss of 344 and a target of about 362 to about 368. And there is a buzz in the market that United Spirits might be one step closer to the deal with Diageo. Remember, there was a bit of a swing in the United Spirits stock over the past 2 to 3 days, but looking at the open interest built up, particularly on the call side, there are indications that probably you might see some positive development on this deal front over the next about 3 to 4 days time. And Bharti has said that they might revise the tariff upwards over the next couple of months, particularly once this 2G spectrum auction is through, which is positive for Bharti. One can go long there with a stop loss of 265 and a target of about 278 to 283. And Hotel Leela Venture has indicated that they are planning to raise about 700 crore by selling its known core assets like land parcels in Hyderabad, Pune and few other places. So this is also a positive for Hotel Leela. One can go long there with a stop loss of 29 and a target of about 30 to 31. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a good trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.